Why, hello, hello. Eric here for the Guitar Rack. I'm starting to think I need to think of some new ways to say hi to you guys. Maybe like point to you and or some jazz hands. Welcome! Anyway, we are here for a new topic catered a bit more to the PRS guys. We're going to be talking 22 frets versus 24 frets. Let's get to it. Alright, so we're here for another video. If you're already subscribed, if you're back here watching with me again, so happy to have you. Thanks for growing this with me. Welcome back. And if you're new, welcome. I'm so happy to have you, and I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel. Keep growing this with me and getting your feedback to make this content more and more enjoyable for you as we go. Appreciate that. So 22 frets versus 24 frets when it comes to a PRS guitar. Kind of an important decision when you're selecting the guitar you want to own and play. Let's be honest, where you can switch tuners, pickups, other hardware on a guitar, you can't exactly convert a 22 fret PRS to a 24 fret PRS. Highly recommend against it. And while people generally talk about some of the major differences between the guitars, I think there's a component of it that's overlooked that I have felt has really kind of helped me fend my way through these models, and I want to share that with you. That's what we'll go through today. So let me show you the models. No PRS video is complete without some eye candy, right? We'll start with the 24 fret PRS. What put PRS on the map? The quintessential PRS. This is a custom 24, one of my 5708 limited models to be specific. I actually put a different video up going over the history and the evolution of the custom 24. If you haven't seen that, I'll go ahead and link you in the description. Great history there and a lot more information on this. But this will be kind of the example that I will use as we talk through some of the things that set this apart from the 22 fret model. Past that, for the 22 fret model, I'll be using a PRS McCarty, and I actually choose this guitar on purpose. Just a little bit of PRS history here. The custom 22, the original 22 fret PRS released, was a bit of a catering, to those that liked the PRS design but wanted 22 frets. It was a quick design change that we'll talk about here in a bit, and that design evolved over time into things like the McCarty, and then later followed by different variants, eventually the Paul's guitar, the 594, and over history, as you'll see, the 22 fret models like the McCarty, and then again later the Paul's guitar, the 594, brought on specs that really became the more popular offerings on the 22 fret models. And that's a very general statement, but we'll talk about that here in a bit. Not talking bad to the custom 22 at all. That'll actually be part of this discussion as well. But again, the McCarty really embodies what we'll be covering here in a 22 fret PRS. All right, before we get into it, I want to go over some assumptions, or maybe we want to call them ground rules of where my perspective comes from. First, I'm obviously going to be focusing on the core body double cut PRSs like the 24 and the McCarty here, not some of the different variants that exist. I'm also going to be focusing on kind of the foundational specs of the guitars, differences like pickups, tuners, some of the things that vary between models. That's not the point of the discussion here. That could be a whole nother thing. The guitar is obviously a very complex system to build the final tone that you get. And finally, these are my opinions. This is how I look at it. It's been very helpful to me through all these guitars that I've owned. It's been helpful to others, but obviously use this to form your own opinion, and I hope we can have some good discussion about it after as you watch this. All right, so to understand the points of what truly makes a 24 fret PRS different than the 22 fret, there's actually an animation on the internet that I want to share with you. I give credit to whoever the original generator of this is. This has been around for a while, and I think it's a great image to really get this point across. So just looking at the screen, you see what starts as a custom 22. You take the scale length of the guitar and you actually shift it up to make room for 2 more frets to drop right in. That moves the bridge and the bridge pickup closer to the neck and to the neck pickup, and then making room for those 2 frets to drop right in. I'll let that animation play one more time so you guys can see it. Then we'll take it off the screen and I'll kind of show you on a guitar as well. So you see how a custom 22 actually changes to a custom 24 with just the shift of the bridge pickup together with the nut holding the scale length constant. So again, taking that to kind of the evolution of the guitar, that animation was actually going backwards, right? That's not how the guitars came in history. We started with the custom 24, and what happens here is you take the bridge and the bridge pickup together with the nut, constant length, shift down, right? So it shifts into the body, and there you lose space for 2 frets. So you have to sacrifice 2 frets to still be able to get this construction to come together, and what you end up with, keeping the same body design and whatnot, is this, a custom 22 variant, a 22 fret PRS, this obviously being a McCarty. So hopefully that helps. If you have any questions on that, I'll be happy to answer them. It's a very simple design decision and really makes the evolution from the 24 to the 22 a very simple one, but then it also drives some of the things that we see in the major differences. All right, so now that we understand how the construction actually occurs differently between a 24 fret and a 22 fret PRS, we can actually start talking about the differences, again, how I perceive them. And I see this as 3 major categories of differences. And let's get right into it. The first one, and the obvious one, I'll get the really easy one out of the way, it's 2 more frets. And what does that mean to us as guitar players? The 24 fret PRS with the addition of those 2 frets gives you 3 instances of a note per string, of a single note, 3 octaves. So here up on the E, you will have 3 E's at the open, the 12th, and the 24th fret. That is potentially part of your playing style, part of a certain player's playing style, where you need that 24th fret to have that 3rd octave of the note on the same string to achieve a certain riff or a certain sequence. And that's the only way to do it. If you're missing that fret, you can't achieve that note in that position. So if you prefer playing styles that typically have a 24 fret guitar, where you have players that solo up to that 24th fret without having to do some extreme bends from the 22nd fret all the way up, this may be the guitar for you. This might be where you want to start. It's a physical limitation, just something that exists on this that you will not find, as stunning as it is, on this guy. So, topic number 2, and a very important one here, neck pickup tone. And something actually changes here. You remember how we talked about the shifting of hardware, the different positioning to be able to accommodate the additional 2 frets. All that puts the neck pickup in a different location in relation to the vibration path, the scale length of the string. On the custom 22, that pickup position is further away from the bridge, and it actually sits in a more ideal position, harmonically ideal position, that you lose when you have to put 2 more frets on the guitar. Many people correlate this to a very traditional neck pickup tone, warmer, some people call it woollier. There is a special characteristic to a 22 fret humbucker neck pickup tone that when you put 2 more frets on the guitar and put the pickup closer to the bridge, you can no longer achieve that. Now, to some people that's very important. To others, they maybe can't even tell the difference, and that's okay. We're all different, and that's why these things exist. But if a 22 fret neck pickup tone is something that you absolutely love, there's a certain tone you're trying to emulate that was done with a guitar like that, that may be something for you to keep in mind and consider, because you might not be able to achieve that sound on a 24 fret guitar. Now, going to the custom 24, there are other things that happen. Again, by shifting the bridge and the bridge pickup closer to the neck pickup, you have a neck pickup that's now closer to the bridge itself. As you get closer to the bridge, you start getting a little clearer in the overall response of what the pickups pick up. So, right here, you will have a clearer neck pickup tone. For leads and solos on the neck pickup, some people will prefer a 24 fret guitar. So again, based on the construction and the shifting that had to occur to accommodate those 2 more frets, you are changing the characteristics of where that neck pickup sits, and it absolutely changes the sound. You should try it. You should try both. You may love one, you may love the other, you may love both. And that's usually the best answer, right? Just get them all. So the third and final topic we're going to go over today for differences between 22 and 24 fret PRS guitars is about the neck and body interaction, your play experience with the guitar. And while I don't want to focus on the direct difference between the 2 frets being added, the thing to understand is there are actually major design decisions that are different between these models that stay pretty common between what a 24 fret PRS is known as and what a 22 fret PRS is known as. And I want to highlight those because they definitely influence how you perceive these things. So, starting with the Custom 24. The Custom 24 traditionally is a trem guitar. Most Custom 24s come with a trem. And when you have a trem PRS, the neck angle, the set of the neck against the body is shallower. You actually have a very relatively flat, low angle setup here for the overall guitar. It keeps the overall play flatter. And when you play a Custom 24, you actually feel closer to the body. You also have a thinner body design on the Custom 24, and the neck ends up sitting a little further away from the body. You remember that scale length shift that we talked about. That changes how you perceive this guitar. And my opinion, you'll probably have your own, and hopefully you can share that with me and the others that watch this video. I feel that this lends itself more to the modern playing styles, more of a precise playing style, having the neck a little further up, staying closer to the body. That has me play a certain way, and that actually is characteristic to what these 24 fret guitars are. Again, due to that neck angle, due to the overall construction. And it's different than just these two frets, but those are common themes that carry through the 24 fret models, and they will change how you perceive the guitar. Now, conversely to that point, on the 22 fret models, and again, I'm using the McCarty here as one of the more popular offerings that then went through to the other models like we talked about. These are traditionally stop tail guitars. And again, the more popular ones, the McCarty is traditionally stop tail, the Paul's guitar, we're going to talk about some of the others, and again, not talking bad to them, just highlighting a detail here. The stop tail guitars have a sharper neck angle against the body. So the bridge, you have a larger slope as the strings run. The bridge sits a little higher up than the trem guitar, and you end up feeling and playing a little further away from the body than on a Custom 24. And then on the McCarty, and then things like the Paul's guitar and the 594, you have a slightly thicker body. This plays differently due to those reasons. I personally perceive it as more of a rock guitar, right? You want to be a little more loose, a little more aggressive with it. You're further away from the body. You have more space between the pickups. You play it more energetically. And that instills a different playing style, separate from just what goes on with the neck pickup. So, hopefully that really sinks in with you. That's really one of the biggest things that I see between 22 fret guitars and 24 fret guitars. Yes, the fact that you have two different frets. Yes, the neck pickup is different. Those can be very important and the absolute differentiating factor. But what we have to consider is there are core characteristics that are different between this 22 fret model and this 24 fret model, and a lot of them stay very consistent across different offerings of these. So they will feel different at their core, and that will influence how you perceive some of the other details. So keep that in mind, it's a very important one. Alright, so the PRS lineup is vast, and there are many amazing models between these two that I really consider hybrids in some of the things that we discussed, and I want to cover those to make sure that you can consider them as you make a decision between what kind of guitar you want to purchase. The first example would be the Custom 22. A trem model Custom 22 will feel a lot like the Custom 24. We talked about the thinner body, the lower angle, keeping it closer to the body for the playing style. The Custom 22 retains those features and just brings it down to 22 frets. So if you want as close to a Custom 24 but in a 22 fret model, you want a Custom 22 trim. If you get a stop tail Custom 22, you can get the bridge shifted away from the body, the slightly sharper neck angle, and change the playing experience a little, but still have a thin body like the Custom 22. And you also have options of different neck carves as well, but not going to dive into those details. That's a whole nother rat's nest that we can get into. Now, on the McCarty model, just using one example, you have a model like the Dave Grisham Trem, the DGT. That is a very McCarty-based model, but adding a trem. So you get the playing experience closer to the body, but you still get the thicker body and the 22 frets. So again, hopefully you guys see, I'll highlight those here in text. Those are hybrids that mix these options that allow you to find the Goldilocks, the thing that's right in between that really marries up with what you want as a player. So look at the different models, consider, but with those details in mind, covering the 3 points that we discussed, you can just dial into exactly what you're looking for as a player between those different options. All right, so wrapping it up, we went over the major differences between a 22 fret and a 24 fret PRS guitar. The things that really should be considered, in my opinion, to make the decision of what is best for you as a player. So again, there's the difference of the frets themselves, that you physically have 2 more frets or don't have them. There's the tone of the neck pickup, and there's the overall play experience based on the characteristics that are generally associated with a 24 fret PRS and a 22 fret PRS. Both amazing guitars, but they are different, and they have some major differences between them that really need to be considered on how this guitar is perceived by you as a player. And ultimately, those are the things that, why do some people prefer a 24 fret PRS? Why do others prefer a 22? Those are some of the major characteristics that set these two apart. And hopefully by you understanding them, you can really set out to choose the right model. And with all those different hybrid options, you have a lot ahead of you to choose the right guitar that really hones into what you're looking for. I hope that was helpful to you. What do you think? How do you feel about the 22 fret versus the 24? Share it in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think about this, what your experience is, maybe what your favorite guitar is. What did you hone into? If you like what we're doing here, again, please consider subscribing. I love continuing to do this for you, and let's get your feedback. How was this video? What do you want to hear next? I'm Eric for the Guitar Rack. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed this. See you next time. Take care.